Georgia fans, it's time to learn your fate. That's Barton Simmons. I'm Trey Scott, and today we've got another episode of Barton Makes Picks where the big guy is going to run game by game, week by week through the Georgia Bulldogs schedule. Is this the year they knock off Alabama? What do you think? Well, I guess
they got to get there first,
right? The very end. Let's get started, Barton. At Vanderbilt in our neck of the woods in week one.
Don't want to spend a lot of time on this. No disrespect to Vanderbilt. I think these are different tiers of teams right now. Vanderbilt's got some good players. Georgia, they're all good players.
All right, so I'm going to take some liberties. 2-0 against Murray State, now 3-0 against Arkansas State. Notre Dame in Athens.
I happen to be a believer in Notre Dame this year.
You are.
Happen to think they're going to be really good. I happen to think even with a loss at Georgia, they're still in the hunt for a playoff berth. But here's why I think Georgia wins this game. Notre Dame defensive interior is going to have a hard time holding the line of against that Georgia offensive line. There's going to be a lot of pushing people around this year. I think it starts with Notre Dame. They squeeze by that one.
Don't you think Georgia, too, is like athletically maybe a different level than Notre Dame? Am I sleeping on Notre Dame's talent? I mean, Georgia just has so many pieces, and by week 4, I feel like their wide receivers are going to start to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame's got more experience at receiver, certainly, in 12 catches coming back for Georgia at this point at receiver position. So someone's got to step up. I think they will. Jake Fromm certainly doesn't hurt having him distribute the football.
All right, so we're at 4-0. We have a bye week now. You go to Tennessee.
Another team. Look, to beat Georgia, it's real simple. I mean, you have to be strong at the line of scrimmage. That's the way Kirby Smart has built this thing. Tennessee is still getting there. They're going to be potentially starting 2 freshmen at offensive tackle. They just lost their best defensive tackle to a season-ending injury. I just don't think they're physically up to the task just quite yet.
5-0, looking good. South Carolina is on the docket.
Yeah, and remember last year when South Carolina was this trendy upset pick? Georgia sort of came out of the gates and
kicked them.
Never looked back. And I think that this is a game where it's at home. Georgia still fairly early in the season, still looking for some statement wins after that Notre Dame game. I think in the East, knowing how important this game is, Georgia handles business.
Yeah, so you moved to 6-0. You're going bowling, big whoop. Kentucky now, and you mentioned the Notre Dame game after the bye. The Tennessee game, South Carolina game, and Kentucky game kind of seemed like ripe for the trap game picking. Can they get past the Wildcats?
You know who's starting to emerge right now for Georgia at this point in the season is their pass rushers. Whether it's Jermaine Johnson, whether it's Nolan Smith. I think you're going to see some of those new faces really start to get to the quarterback. I think Kentucky's offensive identity, I'm unsure where they are. I think they're going to need something. I thought Georgia had a chance to lose that game to Kentucky last year, and they got absolutely worked. So I think Georgia is a better team this year. Kentucky's a worse team. Georgia wins.
And it's at home as opposed to Kroger Field. All right, so 7-0, bye week. Gear up now for the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. This should be a doozy.
This is going to be a great game. I think that Florida's up for the challenge here. I think Florida's really good. I think Felipe Franks is going to be the next evolution of Felipe Franks this year. But offensive line is going to be a work in progress from Florida. At this point, you think it's ironed out, but it's just a matter of 2 programs at a slightly different stage. I think Florida's close to getting that Georgia position, that tier. I don't think they're there right now. I think Georgia wins that one as well.
All right, 8-0. This Missouri game, kind of scary.
It is scary. Missouri's good.
Yeah.
But Georgia's a national title contender.
Okay.
I mean, that's where we're at with Georgia right now. So I think Georgia handles business, takes care of things with Kelly Bryant on the other side of the ball.
9-0, and the next 2 games are not easy. You're going to Auburn, Deep South's oldest rivalry. This one has me extra scared.
Look, I mean, let's look at this. So far, we've beaten a good Notre Dame team on the road at Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, you could beat in Florida, Missouri. I mean, none of those are just gimme games.
No.
And now you got Auburn on the road. Auburn is a team that every game is absolutely brutal. They got to find a win somewhere. I think that this is one of those Gus Malzahn games where he's got a great game plan. They control the football, and they just figure out a way to survive it and win. I think that's the upset on their schedule. Georgia goes down against
You're
Auburn.
not seeing 12-0. Oh, all right, 9-1. Texas A&M, not an easy bounce-back game.
Yeah, but it's at home. Texas A&M's got to go to the Eastern time zone, and I think that, again, a program that maybe in 2020 is ready for this, and Texas A&M certainly is capable of upsetting someone this year, if not a couple teams, but I like Georgia to win this one.
It's a tough schedule. You got A&M and Auburn out of the West. 10-1, Georgia Tech. Certainly not.
Not this year.
All right, so that gets us to 11-1. We're going to throw a little special extra one here, Barton. Alabama in the SEC championship game in Atlanta. No Jalen Hurts to save the tie this time. What do you got?
You're going to throw this on me here.
I
You're going to put me to it. I still think Alabama, given how few times they're going to be tested in the regular season, given all that skill, it's crazy we're talking about Alabama with the skill instead of the defense, but that's where we are at this point. I think Alabama survives another thriller in a classic and heads to the playoffs. But here's the deal, man. Hey, maybe Georgia can still find a way in.